Right then, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Assetto Corsa Offline Championship here for round number 6 of the 2020 Formula 1 World Championship at the Belgian Grand Prix. We're here at the Circuit Spa-Francorchamps in the forests of the Ardennes for what is going to be a very, very exciting race here at the Spa circuit. We're here for 12 minutes of qualifying. The first stage of qualifying, and we have Lewis McIntyre, the first man out on track in his McLaren. But in the commentary booth today, it is me, Miran Evji, and joining me for the first time this season, it is Alex. Good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon, Miran. It's lovely to be back in the commentary box and back for what is a very famous race here at Spa-Francorchamps.
Yes, lovely to have you back in the commentary booth, Alex. And indeed, this is going to be this is obviously a very, very legendary circuit, not only due to the moments that we have had at this circuit, but also due to its history. And speaking of its history, let's go through the track then. So, Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, also more commonly referred to just as the Spa Circuit, was opened in August of 1921, making it one of the oldest tracks on the Formula 1 calendar. And the original layout was 15 kilometers long, linking the three Belgian towns of Francorchamps, Malmedy, and Stavelot, and it was ran on public roads, obviously. It was shortened a bit over the following years, and it hosted its first Grand Prix race in 1925. And 1924, the year before, saw the first ever 24 hours of Spa race. So it's been around for about 100 years now, which is crazy to say. But the track was revamped, obviously. It was very long, very undulating, very dangerous. So it was shortened, obviously. But it has hosted the Belgian Grand Prix. The Belgian Grand Prix has been in use ever since 1925, and it has been a staple of the Formula 1 calendar ever since its birth in 1950. The Spa 24 Hours, a staple of the Spa circuit as well. As I said, has been in place ever since 1924, with a big break during World War II. Yeah, seen a lot of different racing series come here over the long lifespan that it has had. I won't name them all, obviously, because then we're going to be here for the entirety of qualifying. But the modern layout, which has been in place since 2007, is 7.004 kilometers. So it is technically 0.004 kilometers over FIA Grade 1 limitations, but it gets the pass by the FIA. It's 20 turns long, and we should expect lap times somewhere in the 140s, as we have the times coming in on the board now. For Q1, Jesper Johansson has set a 148.717, so that's going to be the time to beat. But Alex, the Spa circuit being a very legendary one, what do you make of the circuit?
Well, we've seen Grand Prix racing here for nearly 100 years now, and well, we've had plenty of good moments, bad moments, and everything in between, really. For example, the 2000 Belgian Grand Prix, when Hakkinen overtook Schumacher by lapping Ricciardo Zonta as well. So yeah, plenty of history around this track, and I'm sure we can add to that today.
Of course, I do agree with you. Previous pole sitters at the circuit in 2017, when we came in for the first time, it would be Dennis Graf, who would take pole position, and he'd also go on to win that race, which would be his second in a row victory that season. In 2018, the year after, we would see Alexander Arnold take pole position for Mercedes, and technically he would cross the line first, but a penalty which was applied to him, which he picked up at the Hungarian Grand Prix, would see not him taking the winner's trophy. It would be Jesper Johansson who would win that race. And rounding out the podium was Dennis Graf and Ide Weitz. who was substituting for Red Bull. That day, 2019, saw the legendary battle between Dennis Graf and Enis Paratsky for the race win, which went all the way down to the final lap of the race, and it would be the Mercedes driver who would come out victorious in that battle. A legendary fight between the two, which is still fresh in my mind when it comes to this circuit. But yeah, we will be hoping for a lot of the same as we were treated to last season. Currently, though, we have all the 20 times on the board, and it is Enis Paratsky who leads his teammate Jesper Johansson, so quite regular stuff then at the top. And your bottom five at the moment, it is Franco Gamba, followed by Emil Nilsson, Tost, Schuto, and then Wale. So Franco Gamba de Renault, it's not looking too good for him right now.
Yeah, you wouldn't really expect Renault to be down there because they're one of the faster cars in the field, so they really need to get their act together as there is 5 minutes left. Time is running out.
Yeah, that is correct. As Josef Fredrik Schuto now comes into the pit lane, Emil Nilsson gets himself out of the elimination zone temporarily as he goes up into P15, and he is going to knock Giulia Cesetti back into the elimination zone. Daniel Wale goes up into 19, so he knocked himself out of last place, but he cannot get out for the time being. Looking a bit better for, yeah.
Yeah, I was just about to say Wojciech Kulasek is starting a lap, but you continue.
Yeah, Kulasek was able to improve, unlike his teammate Franco Gamba. He is at least faring a bit good and currently is in the top 10. Klaus goes up into third as Gamba, quickly followed by the racing point of Kai Trezhnia, who I have to say is running a brilliant fourth at the moment. So nicely done from Kai Trezhnia, who has been soundly being beat by his teammate in these last few races, especially considering Mandic has stuck it on the podium both in Spain and Malaysia. But Gamba's going to go across the line, and he unfortunately does not improve, so he's going to want to go for another lap. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, both of them up to Trezhnia. He has been in the shadow of his teammate Mandic all season, but maybe he can finally have a glimmer of quality showing here at Spa, because Mandic is around 2 tenths behind in 7th place.
Yes, indeed. We'll see if this could be the turning point for Kai. Would be very, very interesting to see as well. Lewis McIntyre then, who currently is in 12th. Both McLaren's P12 and P18. Fernando Tost is another shocker as well, Alex, as the man who was an electric qualifier back in 2019 now is running in the second to last row.
Yeah, Tost usually is one of the driver you'd see inside the top 10 you most of the time, but I guess he just must be having an off day or something is wrong with that car.
Yeah, maybe he just isn't on the right setup. But Tost, who currently is leading his teammate Lewis McIntyre in the championship by 2 points. McLaren are currently third in the championship ahead of Racing Point. So, yeah, they are doing very, very well at the moment. Two quite closely matched drivers, I would have to say, in terms of skill. Both very talented, I would have to say.
Yes, we see Dennis Graf crossing the line. He, I believe, remains 6th for the time being, with his best lap being a 1:49.2. And Thomas Mandic, speaking of him earlier, is starting his lap, so I believe this will be the last lap he will get in as Franco Gamba goes 16th, but that is still not good enough to get out of Q1.
Yes, as we ride on board with Thomas Mandic then as he heads up the fearsome Rouge and Radion. It's a massive climb, but it's flat out through there as he heads down the Camel Straight now. DRS will be engaged, and this straight is going to be the golden ticket to setting up an overtake into these couple of corners. Lake Coombe, the turn 7, 8, and 9 chicane. Quite fast corners, you don't really realize it, but yeah, as the track now goes downhill into the right-hander of turn number 10, Bruxelles, holding the inside line through there. Easy to run wide on the exit, you want to make sure you don't do that. Through turn 11, famously nicknamed No Name, as the track continues to go downhill through the fast left-hander of Pouon. almost flat in these cars if you have the right line through, but Mandich still has to live through there
Yeah,
into the more
you
tech. Yeah,
usually in Freeport you'd see cars going flat out because that's how it used to be with the V10 cars.
yeah, those cars had quite a lot of grip, but now then approaching the fast and flowing sector 3 through turn number 17, Blanchimont, and holding the inside line through here as well into turn 18 on the curb down the exit, and now into the bus stop chicane. You want to be early on the brakes and make sure you knock over the curb there as the track does bump a bit through the bus stop, and then just across the line for a lap of the Spa circuit. And unfortunately, it's no improvement for Thomas Mandich. Franco Gamba does improve, but he's unable to get himself out of the bottom 5 at the moment. Things are looking dire for the Italian in the Renault, as Renault could be risking to lose one of their drivers in qualifying here, but we will see if Franco will be able to maybe pull out something here and improve in his final lap. Fernando Tost is in, so he will be confirmed out of Q1, and the McLaren driver will be starting all the way down in P18. So really horrible qualifying for Fernando Tost. That is not where he wants to be. As Josef Fredrik Schuto is the first man across the line, he does not improve. What about Emil Nilsson? Nilsson does not improve, and he stays in 15th. Currently, he is safe, so I'll just be hoping for no one else to improve. Daniel Wale is going to go across the line, and the Chinese driver does not improve. Kulasek in 8th does not improve. What about Victor Albom running a very, very good 11th, as Haas are 10th and 11th at the moment, which will see both of their cars going through into Q2. So a very, very nice stuff. Very, very nice job then from the two Haas cars. Lewis McIntyre, yep.
Oh no, sorry, I was come back. Continue.
Yeah. I was just talking about how Haas have both made it into Q2. Blackwood is in P10 with Victor Albom in 11th, so it's very, very nicely done from them. Fernando Tost is knocked out. He will be starting in 18th. Mandich goes across the line, and Gamba is in, and he is out of Q1 as well. Two very big shockers then already in Q1, as Gamba and Tost will be starting at the back of the grid.
Well, I don't think I'd be the first to say that I was not expecting that, but yeah, very disappointing for Tost and Gamba, as they would have expected to at least get through to Q2.
Yeah, it's a shame for them, but we only have a few cars left to cross the line. Josef Fredrik Schuto was just able to squeeze in another lap here, so let's see if he's going to finish it up as he heads into the bus stop, the man who currently is last. And famously scored a podium here in 2017 with the Williams team. He does not improve as he goes across the line. What about Jafari Blackwood, who already has done enough? He goes across the line and stays where he is. And that is Q1 done and dusted. Ennis Provatsky leads Jesper Johansson. Then Mercedes 1-2 at the top. And the 5 knocked out is Franco Gamba, Giulia Cesetti, Fernando Tost, Daniel Wale, and Josef Fredrik Schuto. So then, Alex, we've already covered the shock of Gamba and Tost going out. Obviously, that is going to cost them a lot in the midfield fight, especially for McLaren, who are running third. I think it is going to cost them, considering both Racing Points have made it into Q2.
Yeah, McLaren are going to take a pretty big hit from the constructors' point of view, as Tost is going to have a massive uphill battle to try and get back into that top 10. Same with Franco Gamba, but he is a little bit ahead, so it may be a bit easier or a bit harder, depending on how he performs at the start.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens, but the Racing Point are looking not too bad right now. Mandich 7th, and Chereznia very, very good 4th in Q1. So I think they may be a force to be reckoned with here at Spa. This track has obviously proven to be quite the Mercedes track in the recent couple of years. with Jesper Johansson um, and Enes Paratsky, both race winners at this track in the last 2 years.
Yeah, and thanks to Racing Point having Mercedes-powered engines and such, we could be in for possibly another podium.
Yeah, we'll see Mandich, who currently is on a very, very good run of form at the moment. We'll see then if he is going to be able to carry it on here to Spa. The man who is running P5 in the championship. He's 5 points behind Enes Paratsky, which is absolutely crazy to think. But yeah, still very, very nicely done from the Croatian.
Indeed, and as we now enter Q2, starting with Ferrari's Luca Farina on the outlap. He is the first of the remaining 15 drivers to come out, and maybe Ferrari can finally find some form after what seemed to be quite a slow start for them.
Yeah, it's been a very tough season so far for Ferrari. Luca Farina is in 8th with Lama Zasinski 10th in the championship. So both rookies who've obviously been thrown into the deep end, considering Ferrari have a brand new lineup for the first ever time. I think it is a bit of a season just to learn for both Ferrari and their drivers, I have to say. But Luca Farina, we know he is a driver he's a consistent driver and he is good on pace. And that always proves from his F2 days in 2017 and 2018. He pulled out some remarkable drives throughout his career. At this track, I do believe he scored his first ever Formula 2 podium, if I am not mistaken. No, he didn't. He finished P4. But he was contending for the podium that race. I do remember that much back in 2017. But obviously 2017, driving for Prema then, he finished 8th in the championship, 1 point ahead of his teammate Nikhil Waldi, who still is in Formula 2 and actually picked up a race win at this circuit in the Formula 2 race, if you did miss that. 2018 was the breakthrough year for Luca Farina, picking up 2 wins and a lot of point scoring, a lot of points. He would finish P3 in the championship and contend for it quite a lot throughout the season. Though unfortunately for Farina, it would not be the title for him. He would lose out 11 points to Jafari Blackwood, who is now on the Formula 1 grid as well. Farina, who really was a force to be reckoned with in 2018, for those who do remember. He pulled out some absolutely brilliant drives, and one that really does come to mind is the 2018 French Grand Prix in Formula 2, where he started P14 on the grid and went all the way up to finish P4 on overtakes alone, which is really, really impressive. And I have to say, one of the greatest drives we have seen in Formula 2. But obviously, it would be enough for the Italian to earn a call-up to the Formula 1 grid. And it was a very, very good rookie season, it has to be said, for Farina. He'd score a lot of points for Alfa Romeo throughout the season, and his big breakthrough came at the Japanese Grand Prix, where he would finish I think it was P4 or P5. It was P5 he finished at the Japanese Grand Prix. And then when Miran Evji got injured at the same race, this man was called up to the Ferrari seat in 2019. So he got his first taste of the prancing horse in Mexico last season. Everyone does remember that, I'm sure, where he would actually stick it on pole, but unfortunately it was not his race win for the taking. It would be Dennis Groff who would win that race. But whatever he'd done this season, it was already enough to earn a call-up to Ferrari for 2020, and that's where he is now. So overall, he's had a very, very good career up until now.
Yeah, Farina's career has been impressive to say the least, and I think it can only get better from here. I mean, Ferrari had the best season with a season best finish of fourth place by Farina, but I believe that maybe in future races that Ferrari can find their feet again and possibly even score some podiums and maybe even a race win or two.
Maybe. We'll see. Right now, it is looking to be a long road for both of Ferrari's drivers, but we will see how they will fare in the future. As Lewis McIntyre goes up into fourth, the 149.715. Kai Schwezny crosses the line as well. So he's doing quite good at the moment. There's the two Alpha Tauris across the line. Özcan and Nilsson taking the last two spots right now.
Yeah, AlphaTauri, who are technically a new team, well, it is just Toro Rosso in black and white, but yeah, the AlphaTauris do seem to be stuck right in that in the lower midfield, and they are capable of scoring points, but they haven't really proved that as much as they'd have wanted to, as Nilsson and Özcan take up the final two spots in Q2.
Yeah, obviously it was a brilliant season for Toro Rosso. I wouldn't say brilliant, but it was still pretty good. They scored points consistently, and Emil Nilsson, who pulled out an absolutely fantastic drive at the Malaysian Grand Prix, finishing a record P4 for Alpha Tauri, was a really, really good showing from him, and he finished ahead of both Red Bulls in that race, which was quite the showing from the young Estonian, obviously, and he went on, and he now sits P11 in the championship, so he's done a very, very good job for Alpha Tauri, and we'll see if he's going to carry on the performance here into Spa, as Wojtek Kulasek gets himself up into sixth.
Yeah, Emil Nilsson has definitely proved why he should be in that AlphaTauri seat and could potentially even be knocking on the door for a Red Bull seat in the coming years as well. He is a very promising driver, and I hope he does get that, as Lewis McIntyre puts himself in fourth place for McLaren.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you. Yeah, Nilsson, who improves up into 14th. Currently, the bottom five consists of Mandic, Conditioner, Blackwood, Nilsson, and Özcan. Victor Albom currently is in the top 10. Thomas Mandic, though, is on the elimination zone.
Another huge shock for qualifying today is Kai Schwezny seems to be outshining his teammate, despite the fact that Schwezny is over 40 points behind him in the standings and hasn't really convinced anyone as of yet, as Mandic has been the much better driver, but at the moment it's looking very much the opposite with 2 minutes to go in qualifying.
Yes, it is looking quite good at the moment for Kai Schwezny, but it is a shame for Mandic. We'll see if he's going to be able to improve. The man who has been very, very, just really on it these past few races as he comes into the pits. So he won't, I don't think he'll be going out again. And thus, I think we can conclude that Mandic will be out of Q2, which is a really big surprise, I have to say. And yeah, it just doesn't look like Racing Point have nailed it.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, look at the gap between Albon and Mandic, 2/1000ths of a second in between them, and Albon getting into Q3 as well. That is a very impressive. That is very good for the Danish driver.
Yeah, I should mention Emilia Konishina as well, 1,000th of Thomas Mandic. So I'd say she's very close to getting into Q2 as well, but she's into the pit lane. So is Blackwood and Nilsson, the only man running in the elimination zone who's out on track and could realistically improve. It's Samet Özcan. So if he doesn't improve, everyone who currently is in the top 10 are through automatically. So we could have Victor Albom for the first ever time since, oh, it's been a while, hasn't it? But for the first time in a very long time, I'll say that, we'll be through in Q3 in the Haas.
Yeah, Haas finally getting some good luck with both drivers this season actually scoring no points, with Blackwood even getting not being able to qualify for the Spanish Grand Prix. But yeah, finally some good luck for Haas, and as Albon makes his way into the final top 10.
We should speak too early though, so we'll wait until the checker flag drops, and then we will be able to determine what Q3 is going to be, because Özcan realistically could still improve. As we're waiting for 7 cars across the line, then Wojtek Kulasek, the Czech driver, is going to be the first man across the line. Never mind, he comes into the pit lane. Lewis McIntyre, then, who is running a very good 5th at the moment, in contrast to his teammate, who is down in P18, so he's looking to carry McLaren into Q3 here as he goes around the final corner. What will it be for Lewis McIntyre then as he goes across the line? No improvement for him. Now, what about Samet Özkan in the AlphaTauri? The lone hope to get out of Q3, and he is into the pit lane, so he will not be improving on his lap.
Yeah, and well, Victor Albon will be thanking for that, as well he is in Q3 for the first time in it seemed we've been forever, as we have 3 more cars on track, and we are currently watching Laban/Nikai. But I don't think he will improve by much or at all even, but he will be comfortably in Q3 in 8th position.
Yeah, both Ferraris are through into Q3 as well, so that's nice to see from them. But Laban/Nikai is going to go across the line. The man who currently is leading his teammate here in Q2. We'll see if that performance will carry on into Q3, as we're just waiting for the confirmation. I don't think McIntyre is on a push lap here, or he might still be. I'm not sure.
Yeah, McIntyre, well, P5, so I don't think he'd really have much reason to push. So I think he might have just be consolidating his P5.
Oh, and yeah, there we go.
And that is it.
Yep. Q2 is done and dusted. Jesper Johansson, it's not a Mercedes 1-2, but Jesper Johansson is at the top of the timing sheet from Dennis Graf in second. And knocked out is Thomas Mandic, Emilia Konishina, Jafari Blackwood, Emil Nilsson, and Samet Özkan. So still a very good qualifying for Haas, I do have to say so. Victor Albon through into Q3 for the first time since I think it was the 2019 Austrian Grand Prix, if I do remember correctly. But Albon has done a very good job in qualifying. Blackwood P13 as well, that's not bad. Honorable mention to Emilia Konishina as well in 12th, and Mandic will be a bit frustrated with 11th at the moment, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. As he is coming off the back of 2 consecutive podiums for the Croatian driver, he will be quite frustrated and will probably be kicking himself in this for qualifying, and will be hoping he can make an instant bounce back in the race and to score some good points.
Yes, it will be. It'll be interesting to see how what Mandic can do in the race. But we are here for Q3 now. The fight for pole here at the Belgian Grand Prix has now begun. And Alfred Klaus, eager to get out. He is the first man out on track. He's not had the best track record here at Spa. Obviously, this is not really one of his stronger tracks. He finished out of the podium here in 2019 and in 2018 as well. So it really was not the best for him. And 2017, he came on pointless. So I really fun fact, I really just haven't noticed, is that Alfred Klaus has never finished on the podium at this track.
Yeah, it seems to be very much a bogey track for Alfred, and he'll be hoping that this curse that seems to have been bestowed upon him can finally end and be able to get that podium for the first time here.
Yeah, we'll see if Klaus will be able to break the curse, so to say. But yeah, it will be interesting to see what he will be able to pull out today. Obviously, Red Bull, after the disappointment that they had in Malaysia, will be wanting to bounce back here at Spa with their usual dominant fashion that will be showing the first four races as he now starts his lap. Alex, would you like to take us through a lap of the Spa circuit?
Of course. So going down the main straight into the hairpin at turn one, was saucy, heavy braking down to second gear, hitting the apex well and through the exit. Now on the slight downhill run into the much feared Eau Rouge and Radion through flat out through there through the fast chicane and into the long Kemmel straight. Now DRS wide open as we come to the end of sector 1 and into the Lecom chicane, through now into the right, into the left, and through that very final part of the chicane. As we now enter Brussels corner, it's a downhill turn, and it is quite off camber and can throw off some drivers, and into the corner without a name through there very well. Not really a space for overtaking in the race. As we now enter the very fast Puon, can be taken flat out, but I doubt these cars will be able to handle that at this time. And into another right-hander and a left-hander. I have actually forgotten the name. Pardon me, but into the right-handers at the bottom, which is I believe called Stavalo, and exiting now into the final sector, which is very much just flat out, apart from the bus stop chicane through Blanchemont now. Flat out through here, and it's only flat out through this section of the track, and heavy on the brakes into the bus stop chicane. Make sure not to hit the curves as the sausage curves can absolutely ruin your lap, and back onto the main straight. And that was a lap of Spa, a 1:49.8 from Alfred Klaus.
Yeah, thank you very much, Alex. But that's going to be the time to beat for everyone, and McIntyre has already beaten it. It's a 1:49.394 from Lewis McIntyre. He's gotten almost 6 tenths faster than Alfred Klaus. That is a shocker.
I mean, we've seen McIntyre has proved in his pace before, and he has proved again. It is even ahead of Enis Parachki, but Jesper Johansson breaks into the 1:48 with a 1:48.967, and that will be the time to beat with 3 minutes to go. It will be a tall order to beat it, but I believe that it is possible as Kai Sherezhny crosses the line in 6th with a 1:50.2.
Yeah, this will be interesting. That looks like a very strong lap from Jesper Johansson. And Dennis Graf, he can only muster up 4th. Lewis McIntyre is currently on the front row. I think the people who are yet to set a lap time, I do believe it is Album and who else is it? I'm trying to remember here. I think it's Kulasek. Yes, Kulasek. And Album have set their laps. Kulasek is 7th with Victor Album in 8th. And that's all the 10 times currently on the board with 2 minutes 45 to go. Jesper Johansson leads Lewis McIntyre in 2nd. And what a lap from the McLaren.
Yeah, well, we've seen time and time again that this McLaren is really quick, but McIntyre has absolutely blown everyone out the water with that lap, and he's ahead of Dennis Graf, who was leading the championship ahead of Johansson and Johansson's team at Paranski as well. Absolutely unbelievable.
I need to make sure, or Dennis Graf, if he doesn't stick it on pole, could this mean that this might be a turning point for Mercedes? I don't know what's happened to Red Bull, but if they don't get their game up, Mercedes will be taking advantage of this. I'm very sure of it. And Johansson, look at that. He's improving. And it's a 1:48.924, albeit it is quite a minuscule improvement. It is still an improvement nonetheless. But then as we look at Dennis Graf with just over 1.5 minutes to go as he approaches the bus stop chicane, Going around the final corner, looking very quick through there. Is Dennis Groff going to be able to improve? No! He will stay in fourth for the time being. What is happening to Red Bull here at Spa?
Well, whatever it is, they seem to be massively struggling because this is gonna take a huge hit for not only the drivers' championship, but for the constructors as well, because Mercedes are only 30 points behind and could easily put themselves in the lead of the constructors going into Monza, as Dennis Graff also leading the championship, but I believe if everything goes well and he
Ooh,
can
and
finish with points.
that was a lockup from Kai Schwarzenegger. Sorry for interrupting, but he made an error into Brussels, I think it was. But yeah, here is Alfred Klaus then, as he heads into the bus stop as well. Let's see if the Sweden P5 can improve and maybe try and get ahead of the Mercedes. No, Klaus does not improve.
And that is going to be leaving the Red Bull boys dumbfounded, as they've managed to end up behind Lewis McIntyre in the McLaren, as Jesper Johansson's out for another lap. But I think he can assume that his pole is in the bag by now, as he enters the pits, and yes, that is going to be it for him, as we now watch Kai Chereznia, who did lock up earlier, so I don't think he will be improving at all, if not, as the checkered flag waves, and I believe that will be it, with Jesper Johansson on pole for the moment, but we'll have to wait for Dennis Graff to come round, as here he is now into the bus stop, and I don't think he is going to finish his lap, so if he can he at least improve on this time? No.
Wow. And Dennis Groff will be all the way down in fourth. Unless Alfred Klaus is going to do anything, Red Bull have been left with a sour taste in their mouths coming out of qualifying here, as Mercedes have excelled here qualifying. It's a Mercedes-powered 1-2-3 as Wojtek Kulesza comes into the pit lane. Alfred Klaus is going to be one of the last people across the line. So we'll see what's going to happen here at the moment. And oh yeah, sorry. I forget McLaren are still running Renault engines. I think I'm thinking ahead too much because 2021 they run Mercedes engines. But Klaus then is gonna go into the pit lane, and it's gonna be fourth and fifth for Red Bull. They haven't even got a car in the top three. Lavon Sosnishka then, who's currently down in 10th. Let's see if he's gonna be able to improve. No improvement for Lavon Sosnishka. Now I don't know if the fact, because we haven't seen any improvements apart from Johansson's pole time. We haven't seen any improvements. So I think the track temperature or something must have just changed for none of the drivers to be able to improve apart from their first laps.
Yeah, could be the weather, or it could just be that the first times were just too good to be improved upon, and we see now Kai Chereznia, who I believe is the final car to cross the line, and he will stay in 9th. As my mistake, Dennis Graff is out for another lap, and can he improve? No. He stays
And
4th.
yeah, and that means for the Belgian Grand Prix, it is going to be Jesper Johansson on pole position for the first time this season. Never thought I'd be saying that coming on the back of 2019, but the Super Swede, he is back on pole position.
Yeah, Johansson proving once again why he is a force to be reckoned with, and why he is in the championship fight. He is back on top, and Red Bull have definitely let themselves down today, and we'll be hoping for a much better race in Belgium.
Yeah, most definitely. Red Bull will be hoping for a lot better in the race. So we'll see what they will be able to do, and if they'll be able to claw up their way to Mercedes. But Lewis McIntyre, take a bow. Second place for McLaren. That's his and McLaren's best ever qualifying in the ACOC. So really fantastically done from McIntyre.
Yeah, it's been absolutely incredible to see that the improvement of McLaren, despite the fact that Toss did finish 18th in qualifying, but McIntyre still holding McLaren's form strong in that P2 spot. So a very good outing for the Brit, and he will be hoping for more of the same in the race.
I don't think we've ever had that big of a gap between teammates, one starting 18 and another one starting second. That's absolutely crazy. But yeah, we'll see what McIntyre can do off the line then. It'll be interesting to see what he'll be capable of, considering he's never started a high ever in his career. Honorable mention, Victor Albom in 8th as well, as outqualified both Kai Cherezny and Labas Nishkai. So really, really well done from Victor Albom, and he's done a fantastic job in qualifying as well.
Yeah, and as I mentioned before, Haas may finally be able to have some good luck today, as he is actually outqualified both Racing Points and as well as Sajnikai, and maybe now Haas can maybe get their season on back on track.
Yeah, it could very well happen for Victor Albom. We know on his day he is a very, very good driver. So we'll see what Victor will be able to pull out from the hat here at Spa. But Johansson then, I think the big question is if McIntyre might try to go for the lead into turn one.
I mean, he'll definitely be feeling ambitious following his second place. So I wouldn't put it out of his mind for him to be able to, as we now.
No, not yet,
Oh,
not yet.
maybe not. My mistake.
Yeah. I think we should be good to go now for the Belgian Grand Prix, but we are here then. The grid is set, and we've got 24 laps ahead of us. But before we go down to the grid, let's go through the starting grid then before lights out at the Belgian Grand Prix. So you know the drill. I'll take the first 10, and then you take the rest. So for the first time this season, Jesper Johansson starts on pole position here at Spa, and accompanying him on the front row is Lewis McIntyre. Imagine telling someone that 3 seasons ago. They would have probably thought you were lying, but here we are. Second row is Enes Parachki, and he will be accompanied by Dennis Graf in the Red Bull. And then we have Alfred Klaus starting 5th. Red Bull with a lot to do today. Let's see if they can catch up to Mercedes. Luca Farina starting P6 with Wojtek Kurasek in 7th, and Victor Alom starting a brilliant 8th. And then it is Kai Cherezny in P9 with Labas Nishka in the Ferrari, rounding up the top 10.
And in 11th, with what has been a quite disappointing qualifying for him, is the Croatian Tomas Mondic, and in 12th is Emilia Konechna in the Alfa Romeo, a not half bad outing for the Alfa Romeo driver. In 13th is Jafari Blackwood in the other Haas, and 14th and 15th is the two AlphaTauris, Emil Nilsson ahead of his teammate Samuel Ozkan. 16th is Franco Gamba, who had a very disappointing qualifying today in the Renault, and in 17th is Gamba's compatriot Giulio Sassetti in the Williams, and in 18th, with another disappointing qualifying for him, is Fernando Tost in the McLaren. 19th is the other Alfa Romeo in Daniel Waller, and rounding out the field is Joseph Frederick Suto in the Williams.
Yes. So then we are ready, and let's go down to the grid. 24 laps await us here at the Spa circuit with Jesper Johansson on pole position and Lewis McIntyre second, as we have 6 lights. And we're underway here at Spa. Looks to be a good start for Jesper Johansson as he's rocketed it off the line. McIntyre can't really do anything into turn 1. The 2 Red Bulls already getting feisty there as Dennis Graf side by side with Enes Parachki then as they head out of La Source. Will the two be wheel to wheel as they battle once again here at the Spa circuit? Graf is going to try to get Parachki as they head up the hill. Oh, I think Parachki got a bit wide there and he's got a very poor exit. Look at that. He's holding up absolutely everyone. Klaus battling with Farina for 5th. Let's see what happened. Or no, sorry. Okay, never mind. Let's see what happened No, what am I saying? There's Grov onto Parashkin, and it's going to go around the outside of the Macedonian driver, and I think he's got it into Lake Coombe. He does get it, and now this is perfect for Lewis McIntyre, who's in second, as this has given the Brit a lot of breathing room then, as he now runs in second.
Yeah, that gap is now up to 2 seconds for McIntyre, and what has happened to Enis Parachki? He's getting under pressure from Luca Farina and Victor Albon. And he is down in 5th with a lot of work to do after that very poor start. As Wojtek Kulasek, Kai Sherezhnia and Laban Sashnikai round out the top 10 halfway through the first lap. As I think there's a bit of battling going on between 9th and 10th, but
yeah, that's
Laban Sashnikai going round the outside of Sherezhnia. Can he get this done? He will have the inside for the next corner, and yes, he's done it. Brilliant move from Sashnikai into 9th place.
Really good stuff from Sashnikai. Then as he goes up into 9th, Victor Albon has made the move on Wojtek Kulasek. We saw the Czech driver try to retaliate on the Dane into Pua, but that did not work. You have Gamba, who hasn't had the greatest of starts either. He's trying to get Daniel Waller there as everyone heads through Blanchimont. There they are side by side. That's the Williams of Cesetti and Summit Özkan battling with each other as they go side by side through there into the bus stop. No one trying any moves on each other. There's Nilsson chasing down Blackwood for 13th. Jafari has stayed in his original starting position as Thomas Mandic is now all over the back of his teammate Kai Sherezhnia here. But Jesper Johansson, heading after the first lap, leads from Lewis McIntyre by 1.1 seconds.
Yeah, and it seems to be business as usual for Jesper Johansson as he is always seemed to pull away as soon as the first lap has ended, and he seems to be doing that once again as Lewis McIntyre seems to be...
Oh, and I think that's Özkan. Summit Özkan's out. And something has happened to the Swede as we witness the two Racing Points battling. Mandic is going to try to get Sherezhnia here as he's going to be there on the inside line, but he can't quite do it. Here comes Emilia Konishina in the Alfa Romeo. Is going to try it on Thomas Mandic. The two are going to go wheel to wheel. Can Konishina in the Alfa Romeo do it? As she's there on the inside line and heading into No Name, she gets it done. Nice opportunistic move from Emilia Konishina. And up into 11th goes the Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, Konishina forcing herself into the top 10 fight now as she will be looking to go after her compatriot Kai Sherezhnia in the Racing Point. And possibly even go after Sashnikai, Kulasek and Albon, who are just a bit further up the road, 1.5 seconds from Sherezhnia.
Yeah, there's Nilsson who's looking to try and move on Blackwood, but yes, Konishina could now very well get herself into the points fight as well. But the question is, what has happened to Summit Özkan?
I believe he must have got involved in an incident, so he's either making a pit stop or he's retired from the race.
Oh, I think he is out, but and this is into Rouge, and the car just snaps and just straight in.
Oh my god!
That's massive for Summit Özkan.
Was that Franco Gam? Who was that? Was it Daniel Waller?
If we could get a replay on that again.
I think it was Daniel.
Absolutely.
It was Waller. It was Waller.
That was really, really scary accident. And just loses it and into the barrier, and then bounces back on the circuit and gets...
I believe he must have hit Gamba as well. Let's have a look. Oh my god.
Really scary, and Gamba, there's nothing he can do there. Realistically, this is what the onboard from Summit Özkan, and the car just snaps on him as he goes up the hill. And he just gets spinning around and then collected once again. And that is a really monstrous accident, and really not really much you want to see as there's Toss trying to move on Cesetti, but there's a big crash, and they've made contact, and I think Toss is out. Yeah, he stopped.
He stopped.
And that's Cesetti as well, and yet another accident here already.
Yeah, and I think Toss was just got a bit too. Was trying to put. Oh my god!
And that was a bit.
That was Gamba again.
Yeah, Gamba's involved in it again. It's a bit clumsy from Giulia Cesetti, and she's stuck in the wall now. Fernando Tost is out, so both of them are out, and that is Giulia Cesetti's third DNF of the season in only 6 races, and yet Tost and Cesetti are out, so that's already 3 DNFers. But there is Dennis Groff, and he is going to try to get Lewis McIntyre then into Lake Coombe. Is McIntyre going to try to get the second? No. he can't defend from the Red Bull, and Graf is up at the second.
Yeah, Gruff, that Red Bull is very slippy in a straight line, and McIntyre just couldn't do anything to defend, as Suto is now looking to get past what seems to be a very, very damaged Renault car of Franco Gamba, as he's been involved in 2 massive incidents this race. As Emil Nilsson now is past Thomas Mandic, and Mandic seems to have fallen off, as he's now under pressure from Blackwood as well.
Yeah, Mandic. Yeah, I do agree with you. It doesn't seem like he could pull it off. But Dennis Groff, I should have to say, his pace is looking really good right now, because he was able to get McIntyre, and now already he's closed that gap by about half a second to Jesper Johansson. So could we see Groff v Johansson here at Spa?
Yeah, well, it seemed that way in the championship, so maybe we could get some action between the 2 title contenders on track as well, as Sajnikai is all over the back of Wojtek Kulasek, and he may try and get the move done in Blanchimont, but for now he is stuck behind. So as Kulasek is actually going for the move on Albon, and Sajnikai might actually follow him through.
Oh, nice stuff from Wojtek.
Yes, Albon does manage to hold off Sajnikai, but I don't think it will stay that way for long, as Sajnikai pulls alongside Albon, and will probably get this move done in turn 1. Yes, straight down the inside, and it's textbook from Laban Sajnikai into 8th for the Serbian.
It's a shame for Victor Albon, who's still going to try it there on the inside. It doesn't work for him, but Sajnikai, oh my goodness, what a save from Laban. That was incredible car control, but obviously he's going to lose a lot of speed there. You can see there's cars absolutely everywhere as everyone tries to jostle for position. Albon's going to go around the outside of Laban Zasnishkai, as I think he is going to succeed with the move. Laban is still there, the man who has contended for a race win here back in his Formula 2 days, as Albon does get past or does re-overtake Laban Zasnishkai. Kai Cherezhny is there as well, trying to get into the points, but he can't get past the Serbian for the time being. But yeah, a very, very scary moment. I think my heart skipped a beat there as Laban lost it.
Yeah, so Nico will be thanking his lucky stars to not be going in the wall and possibly ending up the same way as Summit Ozkan, but incredible driving from Sajnikai to keep that on the track, and even keep it ahead of most of those drivers. And he is still in the points, as Blackwood is fighting Thomas Mandic as well, going into the final sector. But yeah, absolutely brilliant from Sajnikai to stay on the track and out of the wall.
Yeah, and he's still there, mind you. He's still there trying to attack Victor Albon. He's looking absolutely everywhere for the slightest opportunity to try it. And here he goes on the outside, just like Wojtek Kulasek did it, late on the brakes, into the bus stop. And he gets it done. Into 8th goes Laban Zasnishkai. Beautiful move.
Oh, but I think he clipped the sausage curb on the inside on the final corner. So he may have lost a bit of speed going into turn 1, but he is able to defend the position from Albon, as Cherezhny is on the back of Albon's gearbox now, as there seems to be a pretty big train forming from P8 all the way down to Jafari Blackwood and Daniel Waller in 15th.
Yes, Nilsson is now chasing Cherezhny. He's going to go around the outside. He's going to have the DRS, not the outside, it looks to be. He's going to switch to the inside as Cherezhny blocked the outside. So I think he may be aware that the outside line might be the better one, as he's going to go wheel to wheel with the Estonian. The two go side by side and heading out of Lake Coombe. Nilsson on the inside line as Cherezhny is all the way out of the curb as they head into Brussels. And Cherezhny does defend from Emil Nilsson.
Yeah, great defending from Cherezhny, and he did block, and he blocked off Nilsson on the straight as well, and to defend from that much faster lane on the outside, as it's easier to use that to cut in on the inside to carry on the pace through Lake Coombe. But yeah, brilliant from Cherezhny, and Nilsson will have to wait for another lap, or possibly just get the move done in Blanchimont, as we now watch Luca Farina, who is chasing down Enis Parachki in the Mercedes.
I was about to mention this, Alex. Luca Farina is chasing down Enis Parachki in the Mercedes. So, very nice stuff from Luca Farina so far. Enis Parachki obviously seems to be struggling a lot, and Farina is taking very good advantage of that. Alfred Klaus, same could be said for him, who is 3 seconds off McIntyre at the moment. There's Nilsson Having a look on the outside of Kai Cherezhnia, though. Nothing coming out of that just yet, but he is still adamant to try and get that move done. As Cherezhnia is chasing down Albom, who is now out of the slipstream and the DRS of Laban Sosnishka, and Laban has pulled away, and he's trying to chase down Kulasek in 7th.
Yeah, Cherezhnia making that racing point the widest car you've ever seen, with some great defending into the bus stoppers. Nilsson seems to have dropped back a little bit now, but he will have DRS down that long Kemmel straight, so he will be able to close the gap right up as well. Konechny and Mandic following close behind, but it is starting to form a bit of a DRS train now, so I don't think any moves will be done for the time being. As well, Daniel Waller was actually on the back of Blackwood as I was saying that, so. But yeah, no moves being done as of yet, as Blackwood has fallen out of the DRS train now. As we flip back to Dennis Graf, who is not really gaining much time, but he is sticking with Johansson, and Lewis McIntyre is still sticking with Graf after overtake all those laps ago. But yeah, the top three staying pretty close together, separated by about 2 seconds.
Yeah, I think Lewis is just piggybacking off Graf's DRS here, as Graf is just about on his way to get into Johansson's DRS. So Dennis is catching the race leader, which is interesting to see. So we could have a battle for the lead in our hands very, very shortly. And McIntyre's there as well. So he might be wanting to pick up the scraps from that battle.
Yeah, and as we flick back to Cherezhnia, who has pulled away from Nilsson and is right on the back of Albon, could be going for a move into the bus stop, but as Cherezhnia did to Nilsson, Albon blocks as the other racing point was trying to get past Emilia Konechny, but same could be said for Mandic. He is blocked off by the Polish Alfa Romeo driver. As we now again flick back to the top three battle, and Dennis Graf seems to be a lot closer to Johansson this time, and will have a big help with DRS, and that gap is closing, but I don't think it will be enough to get the move done, as no, Graf will have to stick behind for now, as Kai Cherezhnia pulls to the outside on Victor Albon. Albon blocks, Cherezhnia sticks to the inside this time, as Sojnicki is on the back of Kulasek, and Cherezhnia, can he get this move done? He's on the outside, but I think Albon is going to block, but Cherezhnia will take the inside for the next corner, and I think there will still be side by side going into Brussels, but Albon is going to have the overspeed and will stay P9. Pretty huge battle there.
Yeah, very nice battles all around. Let's see what happened to Luca Farina. As you witnessed Parachki and Klaus battling, and Parachki doesn't get the best of runs. Farina tries it on the inside of Brussels there.
I think he's done it.
Yeah, he gets up and alongside, and then into No Name, goes around the outside, and yeah, that's a move done for Luca Farina. Nice stuff from the Ferrari. As there's Nilsson coming under pressure from Konechny. Mandic is hanging on there as well.
Yeah, and well, this seems to be the battle of the race, really. Just the battle for the minor points positions.
Oh,
Nilsson pulls to the outside, but I think Cherezhnia is going to. Oh,
and he's gone off.
He's gone off. He's gone off. I think he stopped. Yeah, he stopped.
And that's
I think it may be a DNF for Emil Nilsson, but if he can get that going again.
Did something just go on the car? I wonder what happened to Nilsson, but it just went off.
I think he either hit the back of Cherezhnia or he just got hit by Konechny, but I'm not too sure what happened there. Just take a look again. We're on board now and look to the outside, but I think he was hit.
The car, I don't know. The car just looks like it snaps on him. So maybe if Konechny did not hit him, it must have been maybe something just went on the car. Maybe a suspension or something.
Yeah, but let's have a look again. Yo, no, it just went on its own.
It must have been a failure of some sort, or
a driver error. But I think Emil Nilsson is out, and yes, you can get the confirmation at the top of the screen. Emil Nilsson is out at the Belgian Grand Prix. As we once again cut back to Laban Sojnicki and Wojtek Kulasek. Kulasek blocks to the outside, and Sojnicki is still stuck to the back of that Renault car, and will have DRS going down the main straight. So, as we now, oh my goodness!
Yeah, look how yeah, look how close Dennis Groff is to Jesper Johansson. He is now definitely within striking range of the Swede, and we're gonna see how he's gonna do it as he's gonna get the DRS. 3/10 separate him as he flicks open the DRS flap on the rear wing. He's gonna go up and alongside his fellow world champion, and before the corner, Dennis Groff leads the Belgian Grand Prix.
Yeah, brilliant move again from Dennis Graff, and that Red Bull is just too quick in a straight line. We see once again Kai Szczesny on the back of Victor Albon, and Farina, Klaus, and Parachki are quite close together once again as Szczesny finally gets the move done on Albon. He must have been waiting what's an eternity to get that done as Mandic and Konishny battling once again. I think that, I'm not sure if it was me, but that was very close, but it must have been the angle as Mandic stays in P12. Daniel Waller on the back of Blackwood as we once again cut back to Luca Farina, who is chasing down the Swede and Alfred Klaus. Around 4 to 5 tenths behind, so this could be a move done, maybe done very soon as, well, we are now a third of the way through the Grand Prix.
Yeah, but really, really nice stuff from Dennis Groff. We were talking about how Jesper Johansson was, when he came to lead, no one could stop him, unless, except for this man, I guess, Dennis Groff, the only man who can equal Jesper Johansson, and he now leads by quite a bit.
Yeah, and Gruff in that Red Bull has definitely turned his fortunes around from qualifying, but he will need to defend from Johansson, who will be absolutely adamant to get that position back as we once again cut back to that battle for P4 as Luca Farina is still on the back of
look at Jesper Johansson. Johansson is still there. He's not giving up the position that easily. He's going to be in the DRS, and he's going to go to the inside line of Dennis Groff. The two are going to go wheel to wheel, but Dennis Groff does defend around the outside of Jesper Johansson, so not close enough just yet. What about Luca Farina? Or to Alfred Klaus, the other Red Bull, not faring too well, as Laban Sosnishka gets past Wojtek Kulasek on the straight.
Yeah, and that seemed to be way too easy for the Serbian as we now once again cut back to Thomas Mandic trying to get past Emil Konečna, but he just can't because Konečna defending very well to stay in P11. It isn't points, but it is a good defense. So brilliant from Konečna. Mandic will be getting ever more frustrated with that Alfa Romeo car as we once again cut back to the battle for the lead. Jesper Johansson is been absolutely resilient since losing that first position. He hasn't given up, and he is still on the back of Dennis Graff. Around 4.5 tenths is the split between them, and I think he could potentially get that position back. Maybe on the next lap, maybe down the main straight. We will have to wait and see.
Could very well be. Obviously, two world champions going at it. For important points and for the title as well, as there goes Emilia Konečna having a look on the inside line of Victor Albon. You look on the outside as well. Albon with all his experience, defense from Konečna, and the Polish driver has to stay behind for the time being.
Yeah, and Konečna may even start to feel the frustration Mandic has been feeling as of the last few laps, as the gap from Albon to Mandic has closed up massively, around maybe less than a second between the three drivers, as that battle for the top 10 is beginning to continue now, as Farina is still on the back of Alfred Klaus and is quite close, may come to the outside, but just not close enough for the time being, and Luca Farina will stay in P5, which is good enough as it seems, but he is not done yet.
Yeah, there is Mandic battling with Konečna again. Emilia tries it now on the Croatian in the racing point and into Lekum. She's going to go around the outside. Will she make the move stick? Yes, and Emilia Konečna back up into 11th, should I say. So nice stuff then from Konečna, as there is Shuto getting past the stricken Franco Gamba.
Yeah, Gamba just seems to have a lot of bad luck, as he was involved in two pretty huge crashes with Samet Ozkans at the top of Radion and Julius Hazzetti basically just cutting across him at the final corner and him basically T-boning that Williams car, and he has probably picked up quite a lot of damage on the front end of that Renault. So I think he will be rooted to the foot of the positions in P16, and he is last of the remaining running cars in this race, with 4 DNFs in both the Alpha Tauris, Williams and Fernando Tost. So as we once again cut back to the battle for the lead with Johansson still. Oh,
look at that!
What's this?
And yeah, it was Mandic, I think, tried on Konishina into the bus stop. Emilia was able to defend. There's Parachki fending off Luca Farina. So let's see what happened here. And Parachki, I think, got a very good run out of the bus stop compared to Farina. Did he send it up the inside into turn 1? No, he did not. Oh, yes, he did. He did. Because Farina ran wide. That's what happened.
Well, Parachki must have seen it and just said, "Oh, you just take what you can get at this point." And well, he has very much taken what he could get, and is back ahead of Farina.
Yeah, and this was how Thomas Mandic tried it on Konishina. Good, quick reactions there, going on the brakes to avoid going into the back of the Alfa Romeo. So yeah, was on the outside there, switched to the inside into La Source. And we're going to see how the rest of this plays out. As we're going to cut to Jesper Johansson, who tries it there on the inside line. Late lunge from the Swede. But we're not going to see the end of that. As Mandic is going to go side by side with Emilia Konishina. Oh, is there contact? I don't think there was. But Konishina going up the hill does not get the best of exits. There's Farina battling with Ennis Parachki. Parachki used to battling Ferraris at this track. He did that last year a lot with Dennis Graf. As there is Daniel Wale, who now tries it on Jafari Blackwood, but Blackwood does defend from his fellow Formula 2 race winner.
Yeah, we could have seen another pretty heavy crash at Eau Rouge there, as Konishina and Mandic very nearly coming together and taking them both out of the Belgian Grand Prix, but very lucky to not have any contact.
Yes, indeed. As Jesper Johansson is still chasing down Dennis Graf, putting the pressure on his fellow world champion. But Dennis, we know how he is. He's tough as ice. We know he doesn't crack under pressure. So we'll see how this is going to play out.
And yeah, Johansson is still on the back of Graf, and we've reached the halfway point of this race. Dennis Graf is still the leader, following his overtake a couple of laps ago, but Johansson is within 3/10 of a second now, so the battle is still very much on.
Yeah, as they head up a Rouge and Radion, this is going to be the opportunity for Jesper Johansson to try it, as he's going to have the DRS paired with the Slipstream. Let's see if he's going to be able to do it then. As here he goes then on the inside line of Dennis Graf. Graf then later on the brakes and round the outside. I think does defend from Jesper Johansson. Nice stuff there. There's Mandic going side by side up with Emilia Konishina, and Mandic does defend from Konishina. There's Blackwood then trying to utilize Konishina's poor run, but unfortunately cannot do that. As there's Blackwood then once again wheel to wheel with Daniel Wale. No, that's the two Alfa Romeos going side by side. Wale got Blackwood and tried on Konishina as well. There's Gamba, who is trying desperately not to be last in this race and tries to get past Josef Frederick Schuto, but Schuto does defend from the stricken Renault. As Luca Farina chases Ennis Parachki, who is down to 6th. Obviously, after Ennis made that overtake after Farina's mistake into turn 1. There's Johansson having a look on the outside of Dennis Graf, getting a bit hairy between the two, as Johansson is trying to find his way past. There's Franco Gamba once again trying to get past Josper to shoot though. Johansson was having another look into La Source. He's definitely putting the pressure on Dennis Graf now as they head up the hill through a Rouge and Radion. Gap is under 4 tenths. Should be an optimal amount of distance for Jesper Johansson. Here he comes into La Source. They're just about wheel to wheel as they go into the chicane. Johansson hangs it on the outside line and into heading out of Lake Kumis. Johansson on the inside. Graf gets the better run on the outside line into Brussels. Johansson not close enough, and Dennis Graf once again does defend from the Mercedes, but Johansson puts up a bit more resistance now.
Yeah, that's as close as Johansson has come to taking the lead, as Mandic is going to try and get past Victor Albon as well, and that man has finally managed to find some pace, and he is absolutely flying at the moment. And yeah, but I don't think it will be there for. I don't think he'll be there for the time being, as Jafari Blackwood goes alongside Daniel Wall with a P13 into Brussels and through into the corner without a name, and round the outside he gets the move done. Very good from the Jamaican.
Yeah, nice stuff from Jafari Blackwood, who re-overtakes Daniel Wall, and one man who's also planning a re-overtake is Luca Farinas. He's trying to get close to Enes Parachki, has not tried a move though. Jesper Johansson also looking for the way past Dennis Graf as they head into the bus stop. Johansson a bit later on the brakes. Heading through the bus stop did not look as nice and tidy as Dennis Graf. And yes, he has lost a bit of time heading out of the chicane.
Yeah, it seemed like Johansson has been inching ever closer to Dennis Graf throughout the laps, but that mistake has cost him a couple of attempts, and it could potentially invite Lewis McIntyre back into this fight. What's happened there?
That looks very bizarre, but Kulasek and Cherezhnia have come together.
Was that the bus stop?
Yeah, that's the bus stop. And I think...
what's happened here then?
Moving the guy on the inside, and it just spins him round. And
very similar to Torsten Sezesti's incident as well. So we'll see them both out the races. We now have 6 DNFs in this race.
It's very clumsy from Cherezhnia. And so far the season is going good, but this promotes his teammate Tomas Mandic into the points. And it now brings Victor Albom back up into his original qualifying position of 8th, and also Emilia Konishina into the points.
Yeah, and now as you can see, Gamba and Shuto have actually been brought much closer to the points now, with Shuto in 13th. So potentially, if we hope for couple more DNFs in this race, as we see now a battle ahead, and I think that's Mandic and Albon battling for P8 in this race, as Mandic looks down the inside, but Albon is going to defend to the outside and will hold on to P8. As Shuto and Gamba were having a battle of their own for effectively the wooden spoon in this race, but Shuto holds on to P13 ahead of Gamba's heavily damaged Renault.
Yeah, we'll see what is going to happen. Obviously, still 10 laps to go. Johansson has a bit of time to try it. Try and get past as they head through Blanchimont. About 3 tenths separate the two. Johansson does not try anything into the bus stop chicane. He follows him through nice and tidy through the bus stop chicane this time.
Much better than the last lap as well, and he is even set a faster lap time this lap, so he has gained a few tenths on Dennis Graf now, and he is less than 2 tenths behind going into La Source, and he is much closer now. He's going to get slipstream heading down to Eau Rouge and Radion, and I think he may have got a pretty poor exit, as that gap has opened up a little bit again, as Mandic and Albon once again battling, and Mandic, unlike his teammate, has managed to keep it clean into the bus stop chicane, and the battle will continue onto lap 15.
Yes, indeed, as Johansson into Lecombe, not close enough. So I wonder if that might be him falling out of, or him not being close enough, or him just not going for the move. So we'll wait and see what Jesper is trying here.
Yeah, and time is running out. The laps are running down, so we will have less opportunity to try and get past as we cut back to that fight between Mandic and Albon as they go side by side into the cone once again. But I think it is going to be Albon that may keep himself ahead, as yes, it is going to be Albon ahead of Mandic once again, as Konishina in the final points paying position, as Shuto is actually battling for 12th with Daniel Waller. Can he get this done? Round the outside of No Name, yes.
No, it's still
Actually, no, wait.
ongoing. Yeah, it's still ongoing. The Wallace there on the inside line into Puon. They're gonna go side by side through there. Shooters on the outside. It goes a bit off track. Waller is still wheel to wheel with him, and I think Daniel has got it. Yes, he has. 12th position will be Daniel Wallace. The position that he does defend. Really good battle between the two.
Yeah, I was actually getting a bit nervous heading into Puon because I thought that was going to be a pretty substantial amount of contact between Waller and Shuto, and knowing Gamba's luck, he may have ended up getting dragged into it as well. As once again we cut back to the battle for P8. Mandic and Albon. Albon defends to the outside once again, and Mandic lost the back end a little bit there, I believe, and has lost a bit of time to Albon, and he will stay in 9th position. As once again we cut back to the battle for the lead, and Jesper Johansson looking down the inside, but isn't quite close enough to Dennis Graff to try and contend for that P1 place, as we have 8 laps to go in this race. And there's another battle ahead, and Alfred Klaus is trying to defend his P4, as Farina's been lured back into this fight after losing out to Parachki, and he's going to look down the inside at Brussels, and I think he may get this move done. Yes, just before No Name, and he is back into P5, the Italian in the Italian car.
Yeah, wonderful stuff from Luca Farina. He's definitely putting a spanner in the works for Mercedes here, who have to try and get as much points as possible. There's Konishina, who's going to try to get past Tomas Mandic. She's going to go around the outside of the Croatian. Will she make the move stick? No, not yet. Mandic still going to be there on the inside line. The two are going to go wheel to wheel, and Tomas gets it into Puon.
Yeah, much cleaner than the fight between Waller and Shuto, but Mandic, the clear winner in that fight, as Blackwood is actually on the back of Konishina now, and because Konishina seemed to go a bit slow from trying to keep that car on track after going side by side with Mandic into Puon. So Blackwood could be in contention for the final points-paying position, as we cut once again to the battle for the lead with Johansson and Graf, and Johansson still inching ever closer to the German driver, and but he has had no luck as of yet, and he will be running out of chances quite quickly as the laps run down and time runs out. So Johansson will need to make it count if he's to make the move. He pulls alongside, and they go side by side into Lecom. I thought he was ahead, but Graf defends well once again to hold that lead.
I think Dennis Graff is slowly wearing out Jesper Johansson here by just letting him try the move over and over again, and using the utmost of his defending capabilities to keep the Swede at bay. So yeah, you can tell Johansson is just getting further and further away by tiny amounts every lap. So really just a brilliant strategy from Dennis Graff, if that is what he's doing.
Yeah, it just seems to be playing the long game, so Johansson just wears down his tyres, following in Graf's dirty air. And, well, as well as that, McIntyre is holding on to that P3 and seems to be set for it, as Klaus is just under 10 seconds behind now, as Farina and Parachki follow close behind Alfred Klaus in 5th and 6th respectively.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting to see what's going to happen in this battle. Farina doing a brilliant job for Ferrari at the moment, I have to say. As Mandic is still chasing down Victor Albon. Albon has been fantastic on defense, I have to say, towards Tomas Mandic, which is, I have to say, not an easy task by any means, but Albon is doing a fantastic job at the moment, defending from a very highly rated driver in a much better car. and into the bus stop. He does that once again.
And I just like to quickly note that the album, all of this battling between Albon and Mandich has actually opened up a massive gap between.
Oh, did you see that?
Oh, yeah, I think Graf
Graf.
must have locked up.
Yeah. Can we get a replay of that? I have no idea how Johansson was not able to make that succeed, but I think Dennis had a bit of a scare there.
Yeah, he must have locked the rears, and
Oh yeah, look at
yeah, he
that.
locked
And
the
he
rears,
is
but it's well kept by Dennis Graf, and Johansson must have panicked a little bit there because look at that. Oof.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean, he must have saw the danger and slowed down enough to maybe not be involved in a potential crash with Dennis Graf, which would have actually opened up a race lead for Lewis McIntyre. But now we
yeah.
see Klaus and Farina battling once again, and Parachki right on the back of the prancing horse of Farina, and it's 2x2 going down the straight as we see
And he's done it.
Mandic has finally got ahead of Victor Albon, and Jafari Blackwood enters the points ahead of Emilia Konishna, and it's two Haas drivers in the points. How long can Blackwood hold it with 6 laps left? Is he going to be able to hold the points? There's only one way to find out, as he will need to make that Haas car as wide as humanly possible in Spa-Francorchamps, because it will be a tough ask to keep a much faster car behind him. As once again we cut to that race lead battle between Dennis Graf and Jesper Johansson, and Johansson seems to be on the verge of simply just giving up, because he's not been able to get past Graf for over 10 laps now, following his loss of the lead after Graf's quite easy overtake past him, and Johansson's been worn down to the point where he is even losing time on Dennis Graf, and I think this may be game over for Johansson for the time being, unless Graf makes another mistake of the same kind going into Lecom.
Yeah, obviously Jesper Johansson keeping Dennis Graf's wits sharp here, but he is gonna go for once again an attempt an overtake. He's slightly ahead, heading into the corner, and he's gonna be there on the outside line.
But I don't think
can't
he's going to be
hang on.
close.
Yeah.
He's not close enough. He's not close enough. And once again, Johansson is frustrated by Dennis Graf, as we see his teammate Enish Parachki trying to battle past Luca Farina, but it is more of the same for the Mercedes team. And Farina is definitely causing a lot of headaches in the Mercedes garage, as Lapan Sashnikai, where has he come from? He's on the back of Parachki now, and he's going to get past him. Yes.
Wow. That came out of absolutely nowhere. Laban Zasnishka up into 6th, take a bow. Laban Zasnishka, that was beautiful. A very, very opportunistic move as well. Look at Jesper Johansson again, and yeah, he is falling back. So I think it just might go to Dennis Graf.
Yeah, Graf definitely playing the long game here, where biding his time and just waiting for Johansson to finally crack, and now Johansson is starting to fall back and possibly into the clutches once again of Lewis McIntyre, who is definitely seeing what's going on ahead of him, but the question is if he can keep up and close that gap between the top two.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see if this is gonna work. Ooh, Jesper's having a look there on the inside into turn 1. He is getting close, but I have to say, Dennis Graf, he is like a wall at the moment. Yeah, it's gonna be. It seems to have been a very tough ask for Johansson to try and get past Dennis Graf. He is gonna attempt it, though. Is he gonna attempt it? No.
He's not close enough. He's absolutely not close enough this time, and he's even had a bit of oversteer going through Lecom, and I think it's just completely worn his tyres out, and he's unable to keep up, as we see another huge battle for P4, as Farina is looking to dive down the inside of Alfred Klaus, and Parachki is looking to do the same to Farina's teammate Sashnikai, but Laban is holding on very well and will keep that P6 locked down, as we see Emilia Konishna once again trying to get back into the top 10 after being overtook by Jafari Blackwood. Can she get it done? No.
Yeah, and Jafari is going to hold on to that P10 for the time being. Konishina has got Daniel Wale for company there in the background, as Wale is trying to get past his teammate, and there go the two Alfa Romeos side by side through Brazil. Wale is going to be there on the inside line and into No Name. Will he get it done? Yes, he does get it done. And Daniel Wale now slips up into 11th, and now he looks like the favorite to challenge Jafari Blackwood.
Yeah, but Joseph Frederick Schuto is actually getting interested as well, and Johansson right on the back of Graf now. I think he may have found some pace at the end of the closing stages of the race, but it is looking ever more doubtful that he is going to be able to take back that lead and win this race, as he's just not been able to keep up with Dennis Graf.
Yes, it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen here as they head up the hill once again. And Johansson's going to have to try to get the best of runs possible. And he's got a very good run right now. 2/10. The gap is between him and Graf. He goes immediately for it. And he's going to be side by side into Lake Coombe with Dennis Graf, as he's going to be quite a lot ahead. And he is 100% ahead. And he gets it on lap 21 on 24. Jesper Johansson retakes the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix. It looked to be all lost for the Swede, but he shocked us here, Alex.
Yeah, I think he must have been charging up something very special there, and Johansson even sliding through the first part of Lake Coombe to possibly even rub it in Dennis Graf's face, but absolutely fantastic from the Swede to take back that lead, and he is back on top.
Yeah, really, really well done from Jesper Johansson. We thought that Dennis Graf would have it, but yeah, he's proven the contrary, as there's Daniel Wale side by side with Jafari Blackwood. Wale is pulling out a pretty good drive here as well, as he's going to go there on the inside line of Jafari Blackwood, but Blackwood should have it heading out of Lake Coombe. Yes. And here comes Emilia Konishina as well for good measure.
And she goes through Brussels now and into No Name, and she is back ahead of her teammate Daniel Wale, and it's anyone's game for that final points position, and even Gambler and Joseph Frederick Schuto could get involved here in these final 3 laps.
Yeah, really well done from Emilia Konishina. But yeah, Jesper Johansson now has taken the lead, and look at that. He has lapped a second faster on that previous lap. Where has this pace come from?
I think it may have been Graf that we had to be worried about, because he was possibly the slow one instead of Johansson.
Yeah, maybe Graf was could have been eating up his tires trying to defend from Johansson. He was pushing a bit too much in those last few laps. There's Konishina, who's going to try and move around the outside of Blackwood, but they make contact, and both of them are forced off. Blackwood is round. Konishina is going to re-enter, but I don't think Jafari will, and she has just bottled a very, very good points opportunity for Alfa Romeo.
And that is absolutely horrible for Jafari Blackwood. He was actually in 10th for a short period of time, and that is absolutely unlucky for the Jamaican driver, and I think Konishina may receive some repercussions for that incident, as Frederick Schuto has been the big winner out of all this. He started last, and he is now 11th place, so he could get maybe Williams' best finish of the season, and possibly some rare points.
It could very well be for Josef Frederick Schuto, running a brilliant 11th. Just ahead of Daniel Wale, who now has been promoted into P10. So this is going to be quite an exciting battle, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, absolutely, and we'll have to wait and see for something to happen, as it is actually quite close between the final four drivers that are still running in this race, as we have had a total of 7 DNFs, and it has been very much a bloodbath in Spa-Francorchamps.
It's not a very Spa-like race to have a lot of DNFs. I mean, we usually have 1 or 2, but not 7. It's a bit strange, but I think this race has just proven to be a bit more chaotic than recent years. So, yeah, things happen.
Yeah, absolutely. As Schuto seems to be a little bit optimistic now, as we do enter the second to last lap with Johansson opening up over a second over Graf, so he has denied Graf of any DRS, but with that, Graf is still ahead of McIntyre by a convincing amount, and I think that this will be the podium as things stand, as Shuto is still within DRS of Daniel Waller, so he is still in the hunt for points, but Waller will need to defend from the Williams driver if he wants to keep that points position.
Yeah, this is gonna be quite interesting to see then. Josef Frederick Schutter will be pushing 4 points, obviously. It's gonna be his first points. It's gonna be his first point since I believe last season at Japan. So he will be wanting to get these points as quickly as possible, and he is on the back of Daniel Waller quite a bit. So Daniel might have to worry.
Yeah, Waller may seem to be panicking a bit more as he's seeing that white and navy blue Williams closing the gap down on that Alfa Romeo, and he may even have Franco Gamba and Kanisha to still worry about, as they're still quite close behind. So he'll need to definitely watch out.
Yeah, as Shuto is currently trying to catch up as leaders now start the final lap of this race. Lap 24 out of 24 has been started. You can see the gaps are quite major as these guys have just approached sector 3. And Johansson's already coming down the Camel Straight.
Yeah, well, it's been it's been a very interesting race to say the least. Plenty of battles, plenty of accidents, and well, first of all, we're hoping that Zamet Ozkan is okay following that incident. But yeah, as we now watch for the last lap, last chance for Luca Farina to possibly get past Alfred Klaus, and he is very close. He pulls to the inside. They are going to be side by side into Les Combes. Can he get this move done? No, he cannot.
No, yeah, he can't. And Farina will be holding on the will be holding the 6th position then, unfortunately. But Klaus has been strong in defense. What about this man? Josef Frederick Schuto doesn't look particularly close to Wale, but yeah, I think he is still gonna try it. No, Schuto does stay behind.
Yeah, he stays put in P11, and even if he doesn't get points, it's been absolutely fantastic from him. As we now cut back to this battle for P4, as we now watch Enis Parachki on the back of Sashniskai. But it's all about this man today. He was behind Graf for most of the race, but he fought back and he has been absolutely brilliant. He opened the gap up, and it is going to be Jesper Johansson to win the Belgian Grand Prix, and he hasn't made it easy for himself,
really,
but he has done it.
Fantastic drive, but keep the applause going for this man, scoring McLaren's first ever podium. Lewis McIntyre has scored and finished on the podium for McLaren. That is absolutely fantastic, and what a drive from McIntyre as well.
Yeah, and as the top 10 continues to settle, as Alfred Klaus comes home to finish 4th, Farina good enough for 5th, good drive from him, along with Soshnikai, who came out of nowhere to finish P6. Parachki in P7, Mandic comes home in a comfortable P8, and Victor Albon has his first points this season, and I think it's looking like Daniel Waller to round out that top 10. An impressive drive from Shuto, but he may be disappointed not to finish in the points. Gamba 12th, and Konieczna last at the finishers.
Yeah, very, very nicely done then from Album and Wale as well. But that is the race done and dusted. So let's go through the results. I'll take this first page and then you can take the rest. So Jesper Johansson, 2 wins in a row for the Swede once again, proving that he has still got it in the title defense. And you have Dennis Graf finishing a close second, taking the fastest lap point as well. Lewis McIntyre finishes a brilliant 3rd, McLaren's first ever podium, and McIntyre's first ever podium as well in Formula 1. Really happy to see Lewis there on the 3rd step at the podium. Really fantastic to see. And Alfred Klaus finishes 4th. Luca Farina is 5th with Laban Zasnishka in P6. Good day for Ferrari, but not a good day for Enis Parachki, who finishes all the way down in 7th. Thomas Mandic will be 8th with Victor Albom in 9th, scoring his first points for Haas, and Daniel Wale is 10th.
As we get the last three finishes of the race, Joseph Frederick Schutel in 11th for Williams. Franco Gamba, after being involved in two pretty big crashes, is good enough for 12th, and Konieczny in that crash late on with Jafari Blackwood finishes 13th, with the 7 DNFs being Jafari Blackwood, Wojtek Ulasek, Kai Czerezny, Emil Nilsson, Samet Ozkan, the double DNF for AlphaTauri, very disappointing for them, and Julius Sassetti and Fernando Tost in the rounding out the field with DNFs. And that is it.
Yep, that is it then for the Belgian Grand Prix. Now, before we go, Alex, I think we should give out driver of the day. And honestly, I would give it to Lewis McIntyre because even though it did go down one position, I mean, okay, defending from Dennis Graff is not the easiest thing in the world, all right? So you can cut him some slack for that. And still, he remained in P3. He had very good pace throughout all of that. And I think he did a very good job. So Lewis McIntyre gets my driver of the day, but honorable mention would go to Josef Schuto and Victor Albom, I would say.
For me, it is actually going to be Victor Albon because he qualified very well and he managed to hold down that some points positions, and he defended very well throughout this race from Thomas Mandich. But eventually he cracked, but it was still good enough, very good enough for a very good points finish for him. So Victor Albon is my driver of the day.
Yeah, and that has been it for the Belgian Grand Prix. Thank you so much for watching. The ACOC will be returning this weekend with the Italian Grand Prix at the Monza circuit for Formula 1 and Formula 2. So make sure to not miss that. Super Formula will be back this weekend as well at Tokachi. So make sure to stay tuned for all those races. So we'll have more ACOC action coming up this weekend as well. But that's been it for today. That's been it for today. I have been Miran.
I've been Alex.